Hello everybody and welcome to the Celtic Unrestricted View podcast. My name's JP. Well, tonight folks, we have a belter for you in store. It's Celtic's Champions League reaction to the group stage draw. Fantabulous. On tonight's podcast with myself, it's Ryan and Jason. Nice to see you boys. You're smiling. You look as if you've lost about 2 stone with a sweat there, obviously. I'd imagine you've put your couches back now and it's still out in the middle of the flare and family no hiding behind it anymore, and the draw's been made. And we'll start off with you, Jace. Good evening, mate. Hope the week's been good to you and welcome on again. And what do you think of the draw?
Good evening, lads. It's been a no bad week, just a typical working week. Honestly, I think it's a very, very decent draw for us. We're sitting watching it, and obviously you watch all the teams coming out and you're like that, oh, I don't want that one. You're in the chat with that, I would take that one, I don't want that one, I don't want that one, and then it come out. I'm really, really happy we get Real Madrid. It's a tie that I think a lot of Celtic fans have been wanting for a number of years.
Yeah.
And when you be realistic, you know, I don't think it's probably not going to do it in the other games, but in that particular ties. But the other 2 games I think are very, very winnable. And I've not just got my green tinted glasses on. They're very, very winnable ties. I think we could do something in that group. I really do. Aye.
Yeah. Well, you definitely don't have green tinted glasses on, mate. It seems to be the Celtic tap you've got on instead, but I'll let you off for that one. No, I agree with you. I think most Celtic fans will be rubbing their hands together now. The prospect of Real Madrid coming. Obviously, they're holders, so I think that's going to be a massive. And we heard Callum McGregor's interview beforehand as well. I think a lot of the boys maybe have been looking forward to that kind of draw as well. And it's different as well. I mean, both Bayern Munich and even Shakhtar Donetsk, they've been in the group a couple of times now as well. And like see your AC Milans, and they were kind of teams we weren't able to escape in years past. So no, it's quite refreshing. What about yourself, Ryan? Good evening, mate. I hope the week's been good to you. It's nice to see you. And looks like a new wee hoodie you've got on there, mate.
It's nice, isn't it?
It's lovely. Aye. Kind of looks like my t-shirt as well, just a different colour.
That's nice.
Funny. I don't remember the 2 going to the same shop to buy it right enough, but hey ho. But no, nice to see you, mate. And what do you think of the draw?
Oh, had a good week again, mate. Nearly Friday in it, so the draws. We all know Real Madrid's going to be hard, but this is why you want to be in this competition. Seeing Benzema at Celtic Park, I'm absolutely buzzing to see him. I've never seen him play before live, so I know you're there to support your team and you hope you win or you just put in a good performance. Obviously, you go to Celtic Park to win, but let's be fair, if any Celtic fans saying they're not buzzing to see these, I would still call guys like Modric and Benzema Galacticos. They're probably the 2 standouts. I know they've got Vinicius and Rodrigo, etc. But for me, to see Benzema play football and Modric passing balls about, spraying balls about, for me, be brilliant. Don't know what you think, JP, but for me, again, I don't know if I've got, like Jason, if I've got my tinted specs on, or I'm trying to be as balanced as I can and look at everything as I can. But take away Real Madrid out of the group, you're probably going to get beat the 2, probably 6 points away for you. So for the outset, there's no reason why you can't go to Leipzig and win. There's no reason you can't go to Poland and beat the next. So
yeah,
I would say they're very, very winnable ties. Again, it's still a fucking massive task. There's no getting away with that. If we didn't get third, but I'm not going to say it's a failure because that's fucking, again, it is a massive task. But if you don't at least try and challenge to get third, then you've got to say where is improvement got to. But again, these teams should turn up and fucking walk all over us. It's only the outset we're looking for. But I'm with Jason, JP. I do believe we could have got a lot worse. But again, Leipzig will be a good team. The Nets are a good team, but I'm really looking forward to seeing Real Madrid play Celtic Park.
Wow, and you managed to get through all that actually without even talking about one single Celtic player that have been on the same pitch as these guys as well. That was magic, absolutely unbelievable. we just discontinuing Celtic altogether? Are we just looking forward to seeing these guys all in the green and white running out the tunnel and obviously singing songs, and are you just going to take your Real Madrid tap, and looks like your supporters club that night for that one as well, Modric's tap or whatever, and your Benzema scarf, and could actually just picture that, to be honest.
Obviously, I'm looking forward
not
to...
the Celtic, maybe your Real Madrid hero.
Obviously, I'm looking forward to your team playing, see how we cope.
Obviously,
JP, like you've said, you've got McGregor, who was obviously... Again, it wouldn't surprise me, JP, if the media are going to put them more. Celtic have now got Real Madrid after asking for... No, they didn't ask. They're just saying we're pushing to fucking play against them.
Yeah.
So, McGregor, it said, I've got a wish.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a brilliant tie for us. I was actually cheering. I cheered that hard that I fucking scared the kids shitless, to be honest. My daughter didn't know what was going on. You'd actually thought Celtic had just qualified for the latter stages of the Champions League. I started jumping about that living room earlier on. It was a bit pedantic, to be honest. My wee boy just looked at me like I was a loony. He's just like, what are you doing? Just jumping about like a big wing because we drew Real Madrid for a change in the Champions League. But no, listen, I think the other two ties are quite favourable for us. I'll be honest with you, I don't really know much about Shakhtar the next now. I know they're nowhere near the team that they used to be when they played us the last time, when they had guys like Timoshuk and they had a couple of Brazilians the last time. I think they had Wellington his name was?
Wellington played from the last time,
Yeah.
Jaime as well, wasn't it?
That boy that went to Arsenal, was he?
Adriano, was that him?
Who?
Is it Adrian? Oh, Edward.
Willian. Is it Willian?
He played with...
Eduardo. He played for Arsenal as well, didn't he? He used to play with them as well, that's right. So they did used to be very good. Was it Luracheski? It was our manager at the time, old Romanian manager.
I couldn't tell you, mate.
See what people are forgetting with the Shakhtar one is, right, is that it's not a home tie for them either, right? So obviously they're playing in Poland because of what's going on in their country and all that, and I don't think they're playing any league football. I don't think the league has been stopped now, because I think it was Dynamo Kiev where they were playing in Benfica, then they played them in the playoffs there, and Benfica put them out, and then the commentator said that there's no league football in Ukraine, so they're only really playing European football. So that, in theory, should give us a massive advantage because we're going to be we should be fitter than them, I think. Do you know what I mean? So,
well, yeah, you could look at it in that scale, Jace. We could look at it in that scale and then remember what happened against Bodo Glimt when you thought that as well.
Well, this is it. I know what you're saying.
You kind of... We're obviously we've no long started our season, so potentially these ties are going to kick off from the 6th and 7th of September, and then obviously they'll progress through the weeks for there. So we are probably going to be a wee bit more fresh in terms of match practice. I get you if that's the case. You obviously know more about them than I do, Jace. I don't really know. I didn't even know that the league's closed at the moment, and so thanks for letting me know because I wouldn't have known that otherwise. So yeah, we could potentially catch them cold, mate. Celtic Park's going to be vital for us, I think, in terms of the Leipzig tie and the Shakhtar tie. I'm the same as you guys. I'm trying to be realistic, and I'm discounting the two Real Madrid ties, to be fair. Even though I'm really looking forward to both, I'm trying to be realistic and thinking that we're just not going to get anything for the games. I'm there to be shot at and I'm there to be proved wrong. I really hope Celtic do it, and I really hope it's one of the memorable nights that we can all dream about at Celtic Park. However, you've got to be real and you've got to say they're the holders, so they're the in my opinion, they're the team to beat. I know they've let go of Casemiro, but they've also signed Big Rudiger. I think they signed Tchouaméni from Monaco as well, if I'm right in thinking.
Yep.
So they have brought in a few players as well and added to their squad. But overall, I'm really looking forward to it, guys. It's been really good being in uncharted waters because we're normally as we've said before, we're normally looking to qualify and looking to play qualifiers, been back early, only having a short period of time off, back into pre-season, having to hit the ground running. We've not had that luxury. We've had the luxury of sitting back and enjoying football in terms of having a week's long rest and domestically just now before the madness kicks in. So we've been in uncharted waters for the first time in a wee while. And bearing in mind, we are champions of our country, so we won the league and we qualified automatically. I just don't think that's remembered quite often in terms of the media, because you would think, going with over the last 24 hours, there's only one team qualified for the Champions League, going with some of the hype that's been going on, some of the headlines, the way things have been said, and I don't know if it's just me, it's maybe looking into that too much. But I think the way it's been portrayed, that it's as if we're totally being discounted in our achievements, and other teams sort of being looked at as being the kings of Scotland all of a sudden, when that's not the case. What about yourself, Ryan? What do you think there?
It's no you being delusional, mate, or anything. I said to you today, do you think I'm being over the top and thinking that, for what I've seen, that if I get tinted specs on it, thinking that Rangers are getting all the plaudits, or they're getting a lot more coverage? And a few people have even said to me, without me even mentioning it, I've seen it myself. My old man mentioned it to me, Bones and Work mentioned it to me. Other people have mentioned it on Twitter, etc. I've seen it. Rangers are now back, and we've got all this pot of gold, and Talk Sport, we're talking about it, creaming the pants about Rangers. They're forgetting that Celtic won the league. It's just our luck that Rangers are qualified after the full reason won the league was to get through. And let's be fair, I didn't think they qualified. I still believe they were maybe the better team. They done a job. Let's be fair, Rangers done a job that we sometimes can't do. Under Trosh, and they came out of our side. But PSV missed some fucking unbelievable sitters, and then the goalie basically fucks. They go up, home and away. The goalie's soaked 2 goals, so the goal doesn't do that. I think PSV will win the game. But again, it's all hindsight. And let's be fair, they've qualified, they've done a job if at home, they won the game. But I believe the coverage are getting. They should get coverage. 2 teams in Scotland, they're qualified. They should get coverage after the club, and the Scottish media should be going, well done, you're qualified, brilliant. Let's be fair, they've came for nothing. They get liquidated. And let's get this straight here. They get liquidated. David Tanner, I'll mention him because he put a wee tweet out. What a journey. No, David, the journey was coming to an end. The fans say it's a new club when it suits them. It suits them in a new club. But as soon as we mention it, it's, but no, he's in a new club. The old firm's gone. It's a Glasgow derby. It's gone. So get it out your range. Get it out your mind. Get it out your range. We all know, the full media in Scotland knows it. So you're no longer, mate. I believe that we are the champions. I think Celtic Twitter, the admin, whoever it is, I don't know his name. I don't know who. If it's a female guy, I don't know who it is. They deserve a medal because they keep reiterating that they're reigning champions. The Champions Leagues are back. They must be sick of it and all. Celtic must be sick of it, but again, Celtic are never going to come out and say it, are they? But I do believe, JP, you're right, mate. I don't know what Jason thinks, but I'll put it back to yourself, mate. But I do believe we've not been given any credit again for winning the league, for getting into the Champions League. We go maybe a few hours of credit or a day of credit, but they didn't show Celtic celebrating in the dressing room when we won the league. Maybe the odd Celtic one, but Rangers who wants to see trophy day, who wants to see Champions League photos and celebrations, and it's all over the papers. But we just there talking on the part, mate. We get fucking Real Madrid, so I'm fucking happy.
No, that's it, and that's the thing about it, Ryan. It's quite interesting that Ryan says that there, Jace, regarding the media side of it, and obviously pinpointed a certain man for that is David Tanner.
Who's a glorified Rangers fan?
I don't even indulge.
This is the same guy that was sacked for Sky Sports for turning up at a sash bash and being caught in a video camera right after a Rangers game.
Didn't know that.
Aye.
Certainly not the brightest spot. That's why he's not there anymore. Certainly not the brightest spot in the ball, mate, to be fair. I think he's a few jalapenos short of a 12 inch pizza, if I'm being honest, personally. I don't think he keeps well, considering the way he tweets. I think somebody needs to go and maybe give him a visit and see if he's okay, and just maybe talk to him about day-to-day life, because he's, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on in his head. But
two big monkeys playing the brass drums.
I think so. I think one's at one end of the room, one's at the other. But no, I find it astonishing sometimes when you look at what Celtic have achieved, and obviously, and then because of one result, obviously that one result then gets you something. It's a hullabaloo, like they've kind of won something. I don't get it. What about you, Josh?
Where did we start with it? Somebody brought a paper into work today, and I stupidly opened it, and it was a big 2-page spread of them in the dressing room. You think they'd won the league the way that it's been branded? I think it's actually quite pathetic and quite sad that the way that they're going on about it.
Is that the one that we're all singing Sweet Caroline?
Aye, I mean,
you were just waiting. I think you were just waiting Reggie and Bolly fucking busting into the dressing room and trying to jazz the song up a wee bit for them, wouldn't you?
I stand by what I say. They wouldn't have won that. COVID thing wouldn't have happened. They would have won that league if it wasn't for COVID, right? The media have been sitting on this, the stop the 10 thing for nearly 2 years now. It's pathetic the way they go on about it. Celtic have been the dominant force, in my opinion, since Martin O'Neill came in. And
it's not your opinion, mate, it's the facts.
And we've never, ever got the credit that we deserved. We went a full treble, didn't lose one game, and nobody said anything about it. They went the full season, only won the league, put out 2 domestic trophies, and you'd think the Invincibles, the fucking Invincibles, we won 4 trebles. You'll never see that again. But the media, it's only Celtic, right? Watching that fucking BT last night, it was from Stirling Albion to Champions League. Come on to fuck, man. You're laughing, but it's true.
I'm laughing because it's true.
I'm laughing at that's what I'm laughing at as well.
We've just to sit there and be like, but nah, but a part of me is going to accept it now, that's just the way it is, that we'll never get the credit that we deserve no matter what we do. I mean, we're sitting here, we're 2 points clear. Fair enough, there's a long way to go. But in my opinion, Celtic are in better shape than what Rangers are, but the media are making out that we are not. But
I don't think it's so much as they've not really. The problem is they're not mentioning us at all. That's the problem. It's like as if that it's totally discounted. No, not discounted. Maybe a bit harsh, but just totally disregarded. I totally like this story together. Totally just an afterthought. Bearing in mind, we had to rebuild a full team last season. At the beginning of that, they were laughing at us and thought they were going to win that league at a canter. We gave them 6 points to start. We pulled our pants down, we spanked our bums, and we took the league. We took that 6 points off them, and we were 6 points going into the last couple of games of the season. And they drew us at Celtic Park, and that pulled it back to 4. And they beat us once in the league last season, and it took them extra time to beat us in the cup. Albeit they beat us, okay, but we probably didn't have a good day at the office that day. And it took them the extra time to still beat us. But they were trying. I mean, it's not like they weren't trying. We just couldn't get going. It was just never going to happen for us that day. But in the media, you would have thought that, they were winning everything. And parts of the media still portrayed them to have had a better season than us last season.
I can't work that out.
Just because they won the Europa coefficient cup, whatever you want to call
But
it.
that's the thing.
They won it.
Coefficient points cup.
See,
They won.
the
Do you know they won? They actually won the same amount.
That's
They actually won the same amount of European trophies as us last season.
fuck all.
See, that's an orbit that they keep saying about.
Exactly. That's it. The be all and end all. That's what it is. They won the same amount of trophies last season in Europe as us. Hee-haw, and we get knocked out of 3 competitions.
But see that whole about we got there. We single-handedly got 2 teams qualified for the Champions League. Fucking stay up, put your phone down and go to your bed, right? We get this. They get us mere coefficient points.
Yeah,
it's a lot of shite, right? And then see when you bring it up on Twitter and all that, it's as if you're invisible and they don't answer you.
Well, here's a thing about I've got this on my phone. Sorry about my phone, but I've got this for this.
I'm just about to ask you, is there something more interesting happening?
No, it's actually it's on Jason's point here. I've kept it on my phone for the night's pod, so I can't remember if it was this year or I think it was this year it was put out. But basically, I think over the last 5 years, it's right here. Throughout the period, Celtic have managed to qualify for UEFA Champions League group stages twice and have reached the last 32 of Europa League on 2 different occasions. That's led to a coefficient points total of 34.00 over the last 5 years. But bear in mind, Rangers have went through all that and got to the final. They've accumulated 31.25 in the same period. So how have Rangers had more coefficient points and done more than Celtic? And over the last 10 years, Celtic have had 80% of roughly, I think UEFA posted, of the coefficient points. So take away your specs. Look at the facts. I'm not an expert in facts. I'm only looking at what I see online. UEFA are telling you that Celtic have been the most successful club in Scotland when it comes to coefficient points over the last 5 years and 10 years. So how have Rangers got the 2 clubs into the same competition? Yes, you've helped by doing well for Scotland last year, which is brilliant. You got to a final, you had brilliant memories, you got coefficient points. Fantastic. You had good times. But you did not do better than us in coefficient points. Thank you very much.
Do me a favour, don't send that to David Tanner, mate, 11 early night.
See what you just said there, right?
All right, Jace, aye.
And that's not me, by the way. That's not my opinion. That's true facts.
Yeah.
That fact, right? That fact doesn't fit the Rangers agenda, so it doesn't get mentioned.
It doesn't fit the Scottish agenda.
We can't have that.
This is why we get it out here. We say it.
We'll just pretend that didn't. We'll just erase that from the fucking history books, just like we erased the fact that
we died.
That we died. But we'll not mention that either. And this is it. And Rangers are the best club in the world. That's what it's fucking like. And you're just what?
Yeah. Apparently, they all write one of those prescriptions as well. I've heard. I don't know if that's true. It's just another wee rumour it's going about.
Honestly, man.
Brian's laughing, so he must know something there. I don't know if he's. But
some of the stuff on Twitter, but I honestly fall off my chair laughing at it. Because,
sorry, Disco Biscuits, mate. They need to stop taking them. Bad for your health.
You put something in the chat this morning, and I commented on it saying that they genuinely believe it. I don't know what it was, but you put something up and they actually believe that shit.
Aye. Was it no about the signings?
Aye.
Recruitment?
And there was...
I suppose the Celtics had shite recruitment.
Apparently. Aye.
Again, how?
Ange's signed a few duds.
Fine me one. I had a Gucci, maybe. James McCarthy wasn't his signing, so we can rule that. So that one.
But the thing is I'm not wanting to get bogged down with that at all, because it's just utter nonsense. Half the shite they talk isn't true. The other half is hard to believe. We've signed
duds. They've signed 2 centre backs, and they've got a fucking centre midfielder playing at centre half. So who the fuck signed duds there then? Answer me that one.
Apparently they've got a left back trying to do raffle tickets for a half-time draw.
Fuck me, man.
On your signings, right? We've signed, I think I said before we come on, Carter Vickers was £6 million roughly. So again, wages wise, he won good money. Maeda was, I think, $1 million and odds. He'll be on decent money. Seagrass was a free transfer, but again, it's more money at a Bosman. He might be on £8,000 a week roughly. If you ever take, I don't know. Bernaby, 3.5. He will good wages. Jota's on. I think I've heard he's having McGregor the highest paid at the club. Aaron Moyes came a free transfer. That he won't be on cheap money. Jens is a loan, but again, if he signs, he'll be maybe £1 million, £2 million, whatever. And Haskabanovic is signing for 1.7. He'll a 5-year deal as well. He'll probably get about 15 to £20,000 a week because it's a 5-year deal. Mm-hmm. And he is worth £6 million, but you've got a cut deal. So, like you're saying, JP, Jason, JP, like you're saying, Jason, for me, JP, how can it, listen? I know I'm trying to be as balanced as I can here. Right? I'm a Celtic fan, of course, going to be biased, right? But see if you're anybody who can look in for outside Aberdeen, St Johnstone, Rangers, whoever, and say that Celtic have not had the best recruitment in Scotland, you're going to explain to me how.
They should go and stick it or something.
Right, be honest, right? Take off my Celtic specs, right? The Turkish boy have signed, for what I've seen him, he's decent, but you can't get a game so far, right? I don't know if that's because he's got to get into the culture.
Has he played 5-a-side with him yet? I'm not sure he has, mate.
I don't know, mate.
I'm sorry, Ryan, right, but I'm going to stop you. If you come in and you're no better than Borna Barisic, then it's a waste of fucking money.
I understand, right? And then Ben Davies, who generally think's decent, right? He's decent, but no for the money they paid. I think it was crazy. He can't get a game. I don't know if it's because he's no fit. John Souttar's injured. I don't know if that's true. He's a decent signing for them, but I don't know how signing John Souttar's going to go win your league. He's playing with Hearts. How can a centre back for Hearts? I know Celtic signed Presley in the past, etc. But then
Big Elvis, brilliant.
But Big Elvis was all right, but he had somebody next to him who was decent.
He was all shook up, wasn't he? He was magic, man.
But that game last night, right? Connor Goldson for me is a do. He's a do. He's kicking the ball at the park, and that guy's going to be playing Champions League football next season. This season, sorry.
Couple of weeks' time, by the way.
He's kicking the balls out the park, and I'm like, fuck me.
They can't defend it.
Listen, Connor Golson's one of the highest paid players at Rangers now. Because nobody, and that's another thing, nobody wants the players. I keep saying, people keep thinking because we're Celtic fans, JP, that we're biased or we've got a green tinted specs on. I am a Celtic, but I'm trying to be as honest as I can here, right? And why I try and put this out here. Rangers went a season unbeaten in the league, right? Nobody wanted the players. Nobody of their stars went. Calvin Bassey's went because he had a good few months. Fair enough, they've sold a good player. Where's the big money for Ryan?
No, they had 15 different bids for
Ryan Kent.
Morelos.
Ryan Kent.
They're not back every one of them.
He's going to go for peanuts now.
Ryan Kent scored, I think, 1 goal since March. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is that right?
That they said that last night. The last time he scored a goal was March.
I've heard the team at Bison's getting a free first supper.
But JP, he's better than
Jota. Aye.
I know, that was a cracker, wasn't it? That was... like I say to you, mate, you need to stay off it. You need to stay off it. Funny problems, man. That's what baskets are bad for your heat.
See that, but you've just said there about that, right? That I totally fucking agree with that. That I was talking to my nephew about this the other day, and he's put right, but Tavernier and all that's good, and I'm see if they were that good, they wouldn't be playing for Rangers. They wouldn't be signing new deals for Rangers, right? Morelos hasn't. He's been at Rangers for 5 years. He's an all-time European top goal scorer, and he can't even get into the fucking Rangers team now.
He can't even get a game with Colombia when he call him up.
Right. So that tells
he's the only guy I know to get called up to Colombia.
He can't be as good as what they think he is.
He's the only guy I know get called up to Colombia to watch the game on the telly. It's unbelievable. Do you know he actually watched that game on the telly in his hotel room?
He got a flight to watch it in Colombia.
They paid for him to go all the way to Colombia. They paid for him all the way to Colombia to sit with candy floss and watch a game on the telly.
Again, somebody was saying it to me.
Apparently, Gio gets that deal with his Peppa Pig stuff, mate. I don't know if that's true. Again, I don't know. I'm only hearing rumours. I don't know if that's legit or not. But apparently, and the stilettos that he was wearing last night as well, mate. He got them free as well. I think he bought a new Paw Patrol shirt that just came out last Friday. So he's apparently he's in. And Roy Mackay's got my new boot deal with Uncle Ben's. Apparently they're coming next Tuesday for him.
Yeah, he only scored against us when there was no fans in the stadium and all, JP. So that another thing that tells me.
To be fair, in terms of them, it is what it is, and the media is never going to change. But moving on, Brian mentioned his name. We made a new signing today, lads. Syed Haskabanovic. I nearly had a frog at the throat there. Maybe I should shut up and give the frog a chance. I don't know. But no, as I say, 5-year contract and another 5-year contract. Tells you Ange must have a lot of belief in the kid. We got a good lowdown on him yesterday with Daniel that was on speaking with us. I think this boy's a real deal. The big lad that's just signed for Newcastle, or he's just about to. These two kids are the most talked about kids in Sweden at the moment. And Daniel mentioned yesterday that he thinks Syed needs a long-term contract to kind of get him settled and get him going again. Apparently, he's kind of over the last maybe year, he's lost his way a wee bit, excuse me. And no in terms of performances, in terms of just a wee bit unsettled, as in he's been out on loan, he's kind of no found it. Once he was just finding his feet, his loan was coming to an end, and then he was moving on. So, but I do think Celtic have done their due diligence this time, and we were under awareness he was coming in loan with an obligation to buy. So, the Maeda deal, more or less, after his loan deal, he just becomes a mandatory Celtic player. It activates Celtic to pay the money. But instead, maybe that's why it was delayed and being announced, because Celtic have managed to announce the 1.7 million, I think it was, the deal, for a guy who nearly went for 7 million last year. I find that astonishing. And I think Ange has had his train robber mask on again when he's done that deal. Potentially, I think that maybe Michael Nicholson's done a time out of still game, and I think he's maybe been electrocuted with his toaster, because he's just ran a savvy this summer in terms of deals. And it's been all good for us. So, Jace, what do you think? Have you had a chance to get a look at him? Do you know much about the boy, or are you kind of, is it out of left field for you with this one?
I've watched a couple of videos on YouTube, so you can't really judge that, but I think he likes a step over, doesn't he? It looks as if he's quite direct, and I think he's definitely an Ange signing. And I don't
23,
think...
I mean, he's 23 as well, so he fits that perfect mould that Ange is looking for.
I think it definitely spells end for Forest anyway, that's for sure. I don't think he'll feature much. But I trust Ange in what he does. And the fact that he's been out and he's got him, and he obviously had the conversation, and the guy signed a 5-year deal. I personally don't think you're going to give a player a 5-year deal if you're not 100% sure they're going to come in and make an impact and be a success at your football club. If you're handing a guy a 5-year deal, you've got a lot of confidence and you know what they can do. And I think he'll come out into the squad. I'm just already a bit showing. I think he's got the whole Swedish connection, and he seems to be up for it. I think he said he's going to do it. He's going to deliver for this club. So I like that, and I'm looking forward to seeing him getting involved. But and what you said about Michael Nicholson is that I think he sort of seen what we seen in the year that we lost the 10, and we lost it, and I think he came in and he's been like, "Look, this is what we need to do, and this is what we need to do. This is what we need to do to get there."
Yeah.
The way they've got Ange, and Ange has been totally on board with it, and it's the happiest I think I've ever been with a Celtic board. But if we want a player, we just go out and we just get. We don't have this. We'll take him. Like the whole John McGinn thing, we'll take him, but we don't want to pay that. We'll pay this from. They just go 1.5 million. Right, fine, there you go. That's it, done and dusted.
Yeah.
And I just think I think he's kind of modernised the club, and I think I think it's really good. And then I was watching the draw, and I seen him just sitting there with a big smile on his face. So He'll do for me. He'll do for me.
Yeah, it's good that Jace mentioned that there, Ryan, in terms of Michael Nicholson, because I think he's a man who, especially very recently, doesn't seem to be getting enough credit in terms of the way that he's shown support to Ange, the way he's took on a role. Obviously, with the outbreak of what happened with Dominic Mackay at the time, and that became a bit unsettled, and then he's come in and sort of kind of steadied the ship. But I think now, Ryan, we're starting to see in there that we've now got a clear identity of the way we work. Well, certainly the way Ange works. I think a perfect example of that would have been the Riley McGree situation. I think it was like a 5-minute conversation, and before you know it, Matt Riley was signed. I don't think Ange is he's very proactive. He's no reactive. And we're used to things that, about the club that have been reactive. Deals maybe falling away and we're not getting them over the line, and or as Neil Lennon put it, gazumped with other teams for players that we're going for. And as I say, it's long gone are the days. I think the embarrassment of a player being linked with us in the media now for weeks on end, for it not to come to fruition. So I think that's an interesting point Jason brings up there, right? In terms of the board are now being proactive as well as the management team.
Like I said, we've said it in previous pods. The 10-in-a-row season, the board rightly go, what happened outside wouldn't have happened if there was people in the stadium. We all know that.
Yeah,
I still, half of the stuff that happened outside, I don't agree with. Go on and vent your frustrations in a decent manner, I agree with. But it's just one of the things that happened and it blew up. I've seen worse. I've seen fans there a lot worse here in Turkey or in all these countries. They are like Daniel says to us as well. The Swedish fans turned up to the training ground. Or I imagine it happened at Celtic Park in the 10-in-a-row season. So for me, we've said it in previous pods, me and you, JP, and other guys in the pod. The board last season, the start of the summer last year, basically backed Ange blind because there was no. Again, we don't know the full ins and outs of who's behind the scenes, but as we knew, there was no real scouting team because it left. Yeah. I can't remember, is it Jack Naylor? He left to Leipzig, I'm sure.
That's right, he's Leipzig.
So guys in the backroom staff left, and obviously there's guys who we probably know who in the backroom staff who do a lot of stuff. I know, like, you'll get the canteen ladies, the canteen guys, etc., and the chefs.
Mm-hmm.
There's people who we don't even know that probably are behind Celtic. So for me, the board deserve, I'm not going to say they deserve a massive pat in the back or deserve fucking fireworks or that. I know they were sent off fireworks last year. We're qualifying for the Champions League. Mind blown. That's for me. That small club. Small club mentality. Did you see us? Did you see? Fireworks to win the league, but no fucking qualifying for Europe.
Fucking dying to let the fireworks off for winning the Scottish Cup for fun.
Right, so for me, on your point, JP, I believe, like I say, about the transfers, right? Jota, £6 million for me is an absolute bargain. I say Edward was the biggest steal in a long time for £9 million. Edward, for me, was phenomenal. I even said it to Philip yesterday. Jota for me is an absolute bargain. £6 million. He's paid that back already for me. He's paid it back for last season. He's paid that back, and you'll get that back in shirt sales. You'll get it back on Portuguese players, Portuguese fans come to see him. You'll get that money back. Vickers as well, America. Vickers again, £6 million for a centre back who probably should and could be playing the top 10 in the Premier League, 100%. They've backed him blind. Even people talk, like you said, about duds. People talk about duds, right? McCarthy's not a dud. He's an experienced player and he's done well in his career. He's just came to Celtic. Unfortunately, the midfield's that good and the system doesn't suit him. He can't get a game. But Ange, supposedly for the grapevine, Ange loves him and he loves being at Celtic and he loves the training, but he's just can't get a game. So he's obviously got to go and look somewhere else. He's a Gucci, we can't judge him because I've not seen him play. But I trust Ange, and we've spoke to Dan obviously as well, JP, and he says that maybe Gucci might be the one that he might go, it didn't work, but he did say Hatate and Maeda would take his name out the window because they've been that good. So if you look at retrospectively, how can anybody say that board or the recruitment's not been good enough? You've won the league. You've won the double. We probably should have won the treble if we didn't be so forlorn early season, because that's the way we just looked tired. We looked fucked. Let's be fair. At the end of the season, we were kind of crawling, still playing well, but we were crawling. And anybody who for me, can't admit that, again, they're tinted specs are on, because Tannadice was blown at his arse, and look at him now. It's fucking phenomenal. The board deserve a pat in the back. I'm not going to say that they deserve fucking flowers and fucking chocolates and fucking all that stuff, but they deserve a pat in the back, because last season they backed the manager blind. 4.5 months for Kyogo, Jackie Marcus, Maeda, Hatate, etc., etc. Joe Hart. The previous board didn't want Joe Hart because Peter Lawwell didn't think he was a sell-on value. But a year later, Ange says you're my number one. So it just tells me that's the difference, in my opinion, to an elite manager. And Michael Dixon's come in and mentioned, you know what, get the checkbook out, because if we win this league, we're getting a big carrot at the end of the season, and you're getting players are going to go. Joe, I know for I can't say no for a fact, but in my opinion, if Celtic didn't qualify for Europe, the Champions League full time, Vickers wouldn't have signed and Jota wouldn't have signed. That's what I feel. I might be wrong, but why would Jota want to come and play Europa League football, or qualify for Europa League football and play for his second team in Scotland? That's the thing. We are the best team in Scotland as it stands right now. So I don't know if you want to put to Jason JP, but on me, JP, I believe the recruitment's been superb. Nobody can fault it. No Celtic fan. Listen, they've got their opinions, and I respect that. But from my opinion, no Celtic fan can say that Celtic recruitment's been terrible. Even Bernaby, he's no signed for the now. He's signed for a long time. He's only 19, 20, whatever, 21. You don't sign a 3.5. Like he's maybe one I could say he's a project, but I didn't think he would be. But because Greg Taylor's been brilliant, I did say I thought he'd have been the number one left back. But we spoke to Seba, and Seba has said you need to give him time. And I'm wanting to give him time because I trust Seba's judgment, and I trust the manager's judgment, and I trust, for the first time in my lifetime, I'm going to say I trust the board right now. Right now, I trust the board to make decisions for the manager and the players and the club. They might be charging him maybe over the price and fucking strips and fucking pie stalls, etc. And I do believe, by the way, see, looking at these prices now, £129. You're talking roughly 40 quid to go see Real Madrid. Fucking do it. You pay 50 quid to see Rangers, so why do you want to pay 40 quid to see Benzema play?
Well, that's interesting, Ryan, because in terms of what you said there with Ange, put it this way, he's not giving us a reason not to trust him. So that's the thing, and I think that's firmly on board with everybody now about the club. I think everybody trusts him, man. We understand that he'll make the right decision for the club, not just for him, but for the club. He doesn't strike me as the type of man, he's in it for himself, and I think that's really, it's oozing out of him, and we're seeing that with him all the time. I think an interesting one this season for his lads is him signing Harry Kewell. I think that elite mind sort of coming in about the dressing room for the Champions League in mind, I think it's going to be a big help. But more on the kind of new boy, Ryan. What's your overall thoughts there? Because you gave me everything else apart from that.
Sorry, you know me, mate. I like to go on a tangent about.
No, I know, mate. I know. That's how I just never say that. I like you go there.
Listen, mate. You're the man, right? You're the gaffer, mate. You do what you want.
I know. And considering the last time us three were on together, I nearly get my P45.
On Haskabanovic, I believe this guy's a deal. Again, I can only go on by speaking to Daniel, doing my research, looking at his YouTube clips. Again, I know what Daniel says YouTube makes man good, I look good, but Daniel's basically says that he's not saying he can't believe he's at Celtic, but he's basically saying that he could go higher, and he did say that if he does well, he will make Celtic money. Again, people might not want to hear that, but if this guy comes in and he fires in the Champions League, there's going to be clubs talking about him in January and the summer, just like there'll be clubs looking at Juranovic and Jota, and this is a thing. Our players are getting rumoured every second, every third day. They're getting Juranovic is still on forums about going to Chelsea, going to Man U, and I do believe if Juranovic has a good 6 months and he does well for the World Cup, I think he's off. I personally, I'm not saying he's too good to play with Celtic, because nobody's too good to play with Celtic, but he's quality. He's frightening, in my opinion, and he's starting to get on his game because the rumours are quieting down. And I think now, when he sees he's going to be playing Real Madrid, why the fuck would you want to go and play for Man United. When you might play Liverpool, you might play Arsenal, but you're not playing in my opinion, the cream. You might get earn money playing with Man United and playing under Den Hag and playing with Ronaldo. But let's be fair, what are Man U going to win this year? They might get a sniff of the league, right? A wee sniff. They might progress, but Juranovic, he's guaranteed, in my opinion, he's probably guaranteed at least one trophy in Scotland. Maybe I might be thinking too ahead of that, but you're guaranteed a fighting chance of winning a treble, and you've got a fighting chance of having European football for Christmas if it's Europa League, Conference, or finishing second. So, but Haškabanovic, mate, I know about it on again there, but Haškabanovic, I think he'll do well for the JP. On a wee bit I read about him. Sorry, I seen about him on Celtic TV. He's bigging himself up. He says I'm creative, I'm a flair player, I'm quick, I like a trick. I want to be basically saying I want to be a legend here like Larson. I know he didn't say that, but he's saying I want to be the best I can. If that's the guy, I don't know what you think, JP, but it just screams Jota vibes to me. Everything about him. Goal scoring, likes a shot, creativity. He might wear his fucking red snazzy boots and all that like Ronaldo. He just looks very good. Again, I'm like you, I keep a shot down. But from what I've seen of him, he looks good. And I don't want fans to judge him on his West Ham career because he was only 18, 19, and Daniel did say that was a step too far from that age.
Yeah, I think it's interesting what Ryan says there, Jason, in terms of his chat today and his interview. I think that you can tell he firmly believes himself. He believes in himself. I think that really is a character that Ange loves. We seen it last season with Giakoumakis when he came out and he says we were the best team in the league. He was shot down for that and he was called disrespectful and everything else. And he soon put that into place when the proof was in the pudding. We went to Ibrox, we turned the mayor, and there wasn't another word said about it. It was apart from us singing and cheering and dodging bottles that was getting flung at us when we were trying to wave bye-bye to our fans at the end of the game, which was fucking unbelievable. It was funny, but it was unbelievable at the same time. But Haškabanovic, to say that today, and obviously say that, you know, he would love to achieve great things, and he mentions Larson. Obviously, he knows Jordan Larson quite well. I think the two of them have played together at some point of time, going with what he was saying. And he also knows 3 players for the squad already. So he knows Joe Hart for West Ham, he knows Big Starfelt for Ruben Kazan, and he knows Ayeti. So I found it very interesting in what he was saying. And I think that is what Ryan's just said there as well, mate. I think it's quite refreshing to hear him back himself, because that's what we kind of want. We understand he's not played in Europe before. So the Champions League's right in at the deep end, if you ask me, in terms of you've never played in Europe before, so now you're going to be playing Champions League football. Yeah. But hearing him talk today, it sounds like he's a guy that potentially probably is going to be able to back up what he's saying. I don't know what you think of that. I don't know if you heard his interview today, but that's kind of an idea of what he was saying and the way he was talking. And it's as if he firmly believes in himself. And I think another highlight was the fact that he mentions how hard he's prepared to work for the team. Yeah. It's not just about him.
No, the first thing is if a professional like that doesn't back himself, then he shouldn't be playing. He shouldn't have been in the game. I think,
bearing in mind, you've had professionals come out and say we've lost the hunger before as well. So if you compare it to that, to that as night and day.
I personally think that he'll thrive in the Champions League. He seems to me like it's one of those guys that's sink or swim, and he'll always swim. I just think that I just think that he's got it, and he's going to come in. I think he's going to make an instant impact, because he goes right into the squad for Sunday, didn't he?
Yes, I think so. I know he's not played for quite a bit of time, as Daniel was saying to us yesterday, Days, but
he's got to put him on the bench, hasn't he?
I think he's going to be I would imagine he would be he can get the number 9 jersey as well, so I would imagine he's not going to be sitting doing an Elanusi on his phone looking at other team scores while the game's happening. I don't think that will happen.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but can he not play up top and all?
He can play.
He can play anywhere across the front.
I think he's actually better.
I
think he's actually better as a 10.
Yeah, I think he's like a. I'm garrering what my research has showed. I don't know if any of you have done this, but I'm gathering he is like a Moravchik type player. He's a playmaker, and he's naturally gifted with 2 feet, and he's a set piece. He's a set piece ball specialist. And he's
a few podcasts a couple of weeks ago, right before we'd signed. I think it was before we'd signed Moy. So there were a few podcasts ago, and we said by the end of this window, if we can get a number 10 and a CDM, we would be happy. He's done it.
Well, I mentioned this a while ago, Ryan. I don't know if you remember. It was when Barry was on this. And I says, we need a player who can take the ball in tight areas,
yes,
play under pressure and play out of it in terms of balance and being able to beat a man. See, if you go and look at him, he ticks every box, what I was saying. You'd look at his balance, you look at his acceleration away from players, the way he likes to play in and out of tight areas. He can take the ball under pressure. He can play at a press when he's being pressed upon. He knows how to evade a player. In my opinion, mate, he's like Jota. That way, he just eventually players become scared to want to tackle you, want to get near you, because they know they're just going to get fucking laced. They know they're just going to get absolutely destroyed. And this is what I was saying before as well, lads. If this guy shows up what we think he's going to show up, teams are going to be looking across in the tunnel at our squad, and they're going to be going, oh no. And I've said it millions of times, and that's the way it's going now. I think the squad's going to be big and bulky, and I think it's going to be littered with sheer ability and quality, and we are going to absolutely blow teams away as we go in the season. In terms of Champions League, that's going to be a different thing altogether. You'll see our players raising their game. Well, they have to, if first and foremost, if we want to do any damage. But domestically, I don't see anybody touching us. I really don't. And now that we've signed this new guy, I think it just gives us a lot more firepower now than what we've had. And obviously more answers now in terms of you're playing against that low block. You can now play through it, play around it, you can go over it. You can, you can play Jackie Marcus, you can play Kyogo, you can play Maeda. We've got so many options now, guys. And in terms of the further end of the pitch, I think we're going to absolutely destroy teams. Maybe yourself, Ryan, I don't know about your thinking there, but I think we're going to absolutely destroy a team this season. And I've said this numerous times now. And I mean, when I say destroy, I'm talking about 8, 9 or 10.
I think if it all clicks, I don't see any reason why you can't win 6, 7, 8. Again, people might go, you're thinking too far-fetched. Listen, was it Neil Lenny's team? Beat Aberdeen, was it 9-0 or something?
Yeah.
Celtic Park. Yes. So if Neil Lenny's team can do it, how can Angie's team no do something like that?
Stokes and Hooper won it, hat-tricks.
We're taking 10 off a team this year.
See, be fair, Jason, I do believe that. Again, I don't know if
I don't even think that's embarrassing to say that.
In Scotland, that again, listen, I don't want to disrespect Rangers too much, right? I know they're your rivals and we slaughter them because of the media side and all that, right? The will challenges, and obviously they have got some very, very good players because you want to play with Rangers if you want to good, let's be fair, right? But I just think all of the park, we've got every position better than them. For last year, you can say bits and most of the squad, and the year before, on the face it, we thought we did, but it didn't work out that way. But I generally don't believe in my opinion, I don't believe what one Rangers player I'm trying to be as honest, I'm trying to be as balanced as I can here and think about every avenue here, right? The only guy I said Bassey would probably get in at left back, right?
Tillman.
I've not seen much of that boy, right? It's Tillman better than Abada, Maeda, Jota, and
I think for me, I think that Tillman offers something a wee bit more through the middle.
I've been honest with you.
He's a bit of a powerhouse.
I've not seen much of him, right? He looked all right last night, right? But he's played Bayern Munich, so he must have seen that. I'm saying he must have some talent. Braithwaite came to Celtic and he played in the World Cup and he was fucking hopeless with us. So just because you play with a big team does mean you're good enough. But I thought Laxalt was superb because he got him play the year of the World Cup or 2 or 3 years before he signed for us. He seemed one paid good money from I thought, and he was in Milan squad. He wasn't like nobody bombed out. He was in the squad and he came to us. I thought he looked good when he came to us, but see, to be fair, I'm trying my best not to judge Shane Duffy and Laxalt because they came to us at a shite fucking time. And look at Shane Duffy now. He played well for Brighton. Now he's at Fulham. He's still playing at a good level. I.e. Fulham, Brighton, only us. But out of the park, I just believe you're stronger. For me, I've said it numerous times. I'll keep saying it all season. Giakoumakis, for me, is fucking unbelievable. He brings you so much quality. Kyogo, unbelievable, so much quality. But the two are different. You can put Giakoumakis on. For me, the Dundee, Kilmarnock, and the game at home against who we playing now? Fucking Hearts. Kyogo scored 2 goals, but it was quiet. Giakoumakis is on, scores 2 goals, and it's like you're bringing on off one guy with the same amount of quality defenders, but like JP says, fuck me, you've got him coming on now, and he, by the way, £2.5 million for him, £2.75 million for the Greek internationalist.
Do you know where Giakoumakis will be good, Ryan?
Europe away from home.
Leipzig away, Shakhtar away.
But this is where this is where Ange, I hope he's got his game management side and he's learned for the last game, especially in the Leverkusen and the Betis games. This is where he's got to use his game management. Now, Giakoumakis can easily play 80 minutes away from home, and if you're struggling in the game, then put Kyogo on. You don't need to change it. I don't know what you think, JP. I'll put this to you because you're asking the question. Why do managers, Neil Lennon done it, Stratton done it, Ange does it now and again? What is it, this 65, 60-minute thing? Why do you need to make subs? See when the game's going well, where you don't need to make subs, why do you need to make it? I know guys need game time and you need to chop and change your team, but see if it's going well at 1-0, 2-0 and it's still tight, why do you need to change it?
I think it's more to do with the fact of the 5 sub ruling, Ryan. I think there's more options now.
It's meant to, I'll put that right you. It's meant to be, why is it going to be 60 minutes? Why is it the same time that they keep making changes?
To keep the tempo of the flow. And I think it's to do with we train a certain way, Ryan. And obviously we train to a certain tempo and intensity and everything else. And it can only be done at a certain time for a certain time. It's the same as the game. We're only going to be able to play full throttle the way we play for a certain level of time. To then freshen that up in order, if you want to keep that tempo and fluidity throughout the team, you need to make your changes. You would need to make your changes to keep because that tempo.
On the Leverkusen game, that for me, I think it's a big leveling club for Ange. I know we said the Betis game, but for me, it's that and the Bodo game is probably the only criticism I've had for Ange in the way he set up his team. I know we won the league, and that's what
Leverkusen game, the one away from him or the one at Celtic Park?
The way from home, I thought Leverkusen were brilliant, but the goalkeeper was superb. That wasn't a day real performance.
See the Leverkusen when they beat us 4-1, but they beat us 4-0.
It was a goalie.
It wasn't a 4-0 game.
No. But it's a away game I'm talking about. When he made the changes, I think it was 65 or 70 minutes.
I think what had happened there, I know, Ryan, is I think we beat on getting injured that night. I think that concession controlled that whole game.
They put on Mikey Johnson and Forrest, and they had a chance. I'm sure it was 2-1.
Mikey did, aye.
And I was
That
like,
was a
fuck
Pinocchio,
me,
wasn't it?
man.
No, it was a Yeti. It was a
It was
Yeti.
a Yeti, and it was basically 2-1 with a goalkeeper and a defender, and the two of them fuck. And I obviously I was there, I was at the game, and I was like, see, even at 2 each, I was thinking we're still going to win this game. I thought we were very comfortable. We were very, again, I was half caught right, so, but for what I can remember the game, we were very, very comfortable. Jota stood out like a sore thumb. Beaton was the best player in the park for Celtic, I thought, and obviously got injured. And that derailed it, but I thought making I think he made 3 subs. I think he shouldn't have done that, but again, it's in the past, and I just hope that. See against Real Madrid, JP, I know we are saying they've got no chance here, right? They probably have no chance, right? I don't know what you think, and then obviously you can put to Jason. Why can we not just try and defend and try and get a result? I generally don't believe, right? I know we're saying we've improved. We've got Vickers, Juranovic, Taylor's doing well, Starfelt, Jens, we're good defenders, right? I still believe defensively. I think going forward with McGregor, Hatate, O'Reilly, Jack and Marcus, Jota, Kyogo, I think we're maybe just as good as some of these top teams attacking wise, but I think defensively we're still, again, I could be proved wrong. I still don't think defensively we can defend for 90 minutes.
No.
This is where
it's not the DNA, right?
And this is where I'm going to. I don't want to give Rangers credit, but I'm going to give them a bit of credit because they can do that for 90 minutes. But we, for some reason, it's in our DNA that it's not just Ange, it was Stratton, it was Lennon, it was fucking O'Neill. We just can't see games out. But hopefully,
they were structured over 4 years, though, right? To set up the way they do. They've got the manpower.
I meant to say to you, sorry, son. I meant to say to you for the mind you says about, was it Jason? They've took 10 years or 12 years to get back to this. But you, JP, we've won the league in a double. We've voted Champions League in a year. A year.
I know.
We've took 1 year, 2 transfer windies to get to Champions League, and they've had how many windies?
Oh no. I've had that many windies. C.R. Smith's nearly got a new contract with him. But no, in all honesty, and that's saying something, to be fair. No, in all honesty, I think they've been structured a certain way, right, over a period of time when Gerrard was there. They were built.
All the players are defensively minded.
Yes, and our DNA is totally night and day for that. We've got players in our team to play a different style for that altogether. And just setting up to go toe-to-toe with these teams, mate, to actually be progressive and try and win football playing the way we play. Now, whether that's going to materialise to, I don't know in the coming weeks, but we'll soon see. And we'll no set up defensively, right? It's just not happening.
He's already said that.
We'll know it's not our DNA. It's not the way Ange built the team. He's built the team full of flair and attack-minded players, and everybody wants the ball, right? Even the defenders, they're all wanting to play with the ball, they're all showing for the ball, nobody's hiding. And this is the thing as well, even when they're going to places like Ibrox and making a couple of errors, they've made the fucking error, but then they're wanting the ball again. It's like, give the ball again. Never mind what you done a minute ago. And that's what Ange just took away from him now, right? He's took away that fear factor of, don't be afraid to make mistakes, but this is the fucking way I want you to play. And all this, we never stop. Mate, it's in the fucking, it's tuned into them. We're now a year into it down the line, 14 months down the line now. It's tuned into them. A lot of the players have never played in that style, or have told you, Juranovic, he's got more muscles in his legs now than he's ever had before, and the training's totally different, and it's night and day for what he's used to. Every signing just about this game, they've all had a word with the manager, fucking brilliant, 5-minute conversation, next minute, he's a pen, I want to sign. There's just something special there that you know, the players want to come and play for that manager because it's so expansive, it's so, like, he sold them the dream, he sold them a big picture of what it's going to look like. And Andrew's already said it on record. When he signs a player, he's already envisaged what's going to happen for that player. He's already got a plan in place, each an individual player that comes into that team. And I think that's fucking unbelievable. The fact that that's the way he thinks, and he's put them all together. he's more or less flung on McGarra there the last year, being a bit. But it's the way they've all gelled, right? All the different multicultures and everything else. And I don't know what you think, Jace, but I just think it's nothing short of a miracle as to the way he's put it together, the way they're all interacting. And then you're seeing them all socialising together. 4 or 5 of them at the Coldplay gig. There's another one for you. They've actually been to Hampden more times than that mob across the water. They've only been together a year. Do you know what I mean? And they've been in Hampden more times than him. So, but I don't know what you think, Jason, in terms of the overall, the way Ange's built the squad. Obviously, just before we move on, because obviously I'm going to mention, obviously we're up and coming fixture at the weekend. But just to get your thoughts on that, Jason, in terms of the way the squad's been flung together and what you think has been the way that it's been done and, the goodness that we saw coming for it and how quickly they've all gelled and became pals and now we're seeing, obviously, the fruits of it.
See, if we had sat here 40 months ago, whenever it was that Ange came in, and you told me that we were in the Champions League without qualifying, won a double, and have the squad that we've got, I'd have been like, what are you smoking? Right? Because I'd have been like, he's fucking cuckoo. I've never seen this before. I've never seen a manager go out and get players and get them all in and have them all hitting the ground running and singing off the same hymn sheet so quickly. The fact that players are signing 5-year deals with it, I've never seen that before either, by the way. The fact that players are signing 5-year deals tells me that they're fully on board with what Ange Postecoglou is trying to do. Now, me, personally, if I was a footballer and I was playing for Celtic, he asked me, whatever role he asked me to do in that team, I would do it for him. No problem. I would run through walls for him. Mm-hmm. He's also, the fact that he keeps them all happy and none of them want away, apart from obviously the ones that were there, like Julian and all that. That is unbelievable as well. His man management to keep all the players happy is fucking second to none, because he signed that Bernabe, right, who hasn't kicked a ball, but by all accounts seems to be happy and all that at Celtic. Mate, it's unbelievable. Rodgers couldn't even do that, and look how good he is. Brendan Rodgers couldn't even keep all the players like that happy. How does he do it?
No, he's certainly worked a miracle with it. And obviously, as I said, he's sold them the dream, in my opinion. What about yourself, Ryan? What's your thoughts on it, mate?
It's hard to keep guys happy in it. It is, let's be fair. Rodgers did do it, but again, Ange's doing it because you see interviews, they're not actually, they're still including everything. I can't remember if it was open goal I seen. It was open goal actually, and again, I know people don't want to talk about him, but Kevin Thompson, he was saying the guys who weren't really playing or the guys with the subs, he would still take the training session to make it like, no, you're still part of it. It's not a bomb squad, it's not a reserve, it's not a sub session, it's a first team session, which I know people may not want.
He's a very, very, very good coach.
I think, see, listening to him, by the way, I know people don't like open goal because you're hard, maybe on it, or I like open goal, right? And certain parts of it, I like it, mate. When I actually talk about football and it's not all comedy, they do talk good football, you know what I mean? Especially, I do like Kevin Thompson, he's on it, and he does say, maybe that's what Ange does when they're doing that. You very rarely do you see like guys like Ayeti, Johnson, guys who are McCarthy are not really involved. They're always still training with the first team. So maybe it's in their fault. I'm still in contention for the weekend squad. I don't know if that's the way they work, IP, but I think it is hard. But the way the structure is at Ange and the way the squad is, you can't fault the way he's doing your club now. Again, him Nicholson came in, the guys he signed, he has got us back on board, because before he came in, let's be fair, let's not put it fucking politely, we were all fucking like, what the fuck's going on here? What is going on? Eddie Howe, because of personal reasons or family reasons, didn't want to come. And we were thinking, fuck me, man. Because let's be fair, I still believe Eddie Howe. I'm not going to say he's done everything Andrew's done, but just look at Newcastle. He's got guys like Joe Linton performing fucking unbelievable. Again, it just tells you how good man he is. I believe
he's good.
I'm not going to say he'd have done as good as Ange, but I definitely believe he'd have won the league. I believe that without a doubt. Eddie Howe for me is a very good manager. I'm no doubt in that. I'm not going to say he's better than Newcastle, but Dale at Newcastle is going to make a bigger attraction. But on what you're saying, JP, I do believe that the way Ange got this squad, they're all happy, they're all out together, they're all fucking out on golf days, they're out for something to eat and all that. So I do believe that he's building something, and I do believe that the best is still yet to come for Celtic.
Yeah, definitely. I think we're only at the very start of our journey with him, and I think we're working our way towards something really, really special. I'm hoping that's the Champions League right enough, and I'm hoping we do see something special in some of the nights that we've got going. But more on to the weekend, just before we go tonight, guys. More on to the weekend. Dundee United, Tannadice, Sunday. You'd be looking at that thinking we're pretty comfortable. Again, a team who's very low in confidence at the moment. Results haven't certainly went their way. It's probably a fixture they could not be doing me, especially if Celtic are able to bring the A game. I'll put this one to you, Jace. What's your thoughts about Sunday? And obviously moving forward, mate.
First and foremost, I'm actually really shocked at how bad Dundee United have started this season, because we were in that chat soon the people they signed that they were going to be good. And
have they started bad though, or is it the fact that they just get rattled in Holland?
I think that's a lot to do with it. I think they've just...
Don't forget, they beat him over here. So, like Scotland.
Because they took that heavy defeat, they've been like, fucking, it's a hard one to get out of it.
Yeah.
Over, but St Mirren scalped them at the weekend and all. That was a fucking unbelievable result, baby.
Yeah. The weekend before that, Hearts took 4 off them as well.
St Mirren took fucking 3 off of them at home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that it's... But I think it'll be fucking land to the slaughter, to be honest with you. I think we're getting them at a very, very bad time. Like you said, JP, I think it's a tie they could be doing without. But I think we'll go up there, get a nice, good result, and it'll keep us ticking over in preparation for the Champions League coming in. And then, as I said at the start of the pod, I fully believe that we can get at least 9 points for that group. I think we can. I think we can, at worst, finish third in that group. I think, in my opinion, that's just what I think. Yeah.
What about yourself, Ryan, in terms of the weekend, mate? What's your thinking behind this?
I think the weekend leads to a very, very grueling schedule. You've got Ross County, Rangers. Obviously, we don't know the Champions League yet, but you're going to be playing basically during the week, Saturday, Sunday, whatever, for a while now. So basically to the end of the year, if you get through in the cup competition as well. Yep. So Tannadice again. I'm looking forward to it. Also, I'm going to game myself, so I'm looking forward to going. Hopefully, I might maybe see. We don't know if Hassan Tannadice will play. Don't know what you think, JP. I'll go back to the game in a minute. But what do you think? Do you think? I don't know how fit this boy is. If he's played at all, I don't know when he's last played. But do you think if he's on the bench in Forest, doesn't that tell you something?
Yeah, I would think it would show a clear indication of how things are going to look for James Forrest as we move forward. I don't know if that's what will happen though, but I would be very surprised if Haskabanovic comes in and he immediately starts. I think Ange will want to keep the continuity amongst the group. I think we might see Hatate coming in for the beginning again, because he was on the bench and obviously get brought on. So, and then obviously it'll depend on who's on the bench. But I do think if Haskabanovic is there, someone else is going to have to drop out. So it might be James Forrest. Who knows? Or it might be James McCarthy. It could be. But I do think James's game time is going to be very numbered pretty soon, mate. But in terms of just the overall thoughts of the game, mate, what's your thinking?
I'm kind of, again, like you know what to disrespect United, but they all have a hard task to play against us. I do believe they will get, listen, every team roughly gets a chance or two. That's the only thing I would say. We're no gullible, we're liable to, as the odd chance for teams. I do think they'll get a chance, but it's up to them to take it. I think we'll be too strong. I think as well, they'll get a lift for seeing that draw as well. I think they'll get a lift. And it will spur them on. I don't want to disregard Shakhtar and Leipzig because they are quality teams. Leipzig, for me, are a very good team. They might not be the Leipzig they are when we played them, because they were second, they're fucking running about the tap when we played them, the last Europa League. But they're still a very, very good team. Timo Werner's back there. I don't know if Paulson's still there. So they've got a good team. Kunku as well. He'll probably turn up. We did turn up against him. We'll turn up against us as usual. But I do believe that it will be they've got a hard task, right? There's no question about them. They can do it. But I did say that they would finish decent with Fletcher. Again, Fletcher will pose a threat if he starts. I know he's getting older, but he's a very good player, he's experienced. They will cause Vickers and that a wee bit of a problem.
I think they made a new signing today as well, didn't they?
I've not seen that, mate, have they? I've not seen it.
I think they signed a striker today. Aye.
That McGrath, and they got him.
Aye, go McGrath as well. They will pose a threat. They'll be busy. The boy Levitt in midfield, Jeremy, I think Celtic should go and get him soon because he's a belter. He's a belter. Again, he would only be on the bench, or he would Celtic probably sign him and put in the fucking B team. That's the way Celtic are fucking gone now, signing young boys. But I think overall, JP for United, I think you'd be very, very disappointed if you came away there without 3 points and a few goals. Again, you just want to get 3 points, win the game, but it's getting to the stage like I've said to you, mate. You're expecting a fucking goal rush in the game now, and you shouldn't be expecting that because football is not an easy game. But I do believe that we should walk away with 3 points. And obviously Haskabanovic, I know you probably want to ask one of your question or so, mate, but I do believe, I think I said to you recently that the game against Ross County, I know you don't want to make too many changes because you still want to win the game and you still want to keep the continuity, but I think guys like Siegrist, Moy, McCarthy, Haskabanovic, Giacomakis might play for the start. He's got an opportunity to play guys who are still good enough.
Yeah.
Leading towards the Rangers game and obviously the game in Champions, because it's probably the only game he's going to get to give some guys minutes and a wee bit of rest at the same time.
Yeah, I agree with that, mate. I think he's potentially looking at that game. You maybe see Siegrist coming in to the team. Siegrist might actually be the cup goalkeeper. The way teams have started doing this now. They'll have a goalie for your domestic league games, but then your goalkeeper for cup games is different. And he does have that luxury now.
Might play or not, by the way.
Who?
Bernabei might play the rest.
Yeah. I think it might be a clear indication as to his thoughts for the following weekend, obviously with the derby. As to, what his thoughts are there, depending on who's going to be in the squad on that Wednesday night for the Ross County game. It is an ample opportunity to give people minutes in terms of maybe even Aaron Moy and, other guys that could come in and help the squad.
Big Starfield get a start and all.
Yeah, potentially, yes, because I don't think, in my opinion, Starfield's not really done anything wrong, mate. So it's just been a simple fact that he's dropped out with an injury and Jens just took his place at the moment because we needed cover. And obviously he didn't fancy Julian, which is why Julian's now no longer at the club. But no, I agree with that, lads. I think we could potentially use the Ross County game to make a few changes to the squad. I don't think Ange will make too many changes on me. Just my experience of watching his teams. He doesn't like to change a lot of things, but he does have a luxury to kind of play about with it and try and not lose too much quality throughout the squad, and keep a bit of continuity there. But overall, lads, I'm really looking forward to the Champions League draw's been done now. Season's opened up now. We know what's coming. We know what's going to happen. We've had the luxury at the beginning of the season here of having 7 to 8 days between games to work on things in the training park. And because you know what it's like, when the games come thick and fast, you get a couple of days of recovery, 1 day of training, and then you're into the next game. That's what it's like. So it's kind of hard to put your ideas in. But I think the players can understand, and I think they're well with, they're well drilled now in what Ange is expecting. And then obviously you've got McGregor's expectations and demands that he'll put on them as well. And a couple of the senior members, i.e. Greg Taylor and Joe Hart, etc., will be drumming that in as well. But overall, lads, it's all exciting. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what the season has in store for us. Is there anything else any of the two you want to add before we call it a day?
I think we've called it, haven't we? Aye.
Yeah. Just if anybody, obviously the listeners, if you like the content, you like everything we're speaking about, please hit subscribe on my YouTube page. Just hit the wee bell and you'll get a notification when and if we go live. It's free to do so fire away and do it. We're on all platforms as well. You can get any one of us, me, Ryan, Jason. We're all on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Ryan gets a couple of wee jazzy videos going through us on TikTok now and again. He's a man for that. So, but overall, guys, it's been a pleasure again on chatting with you, and looking forward to the season really starting now that the Champions League draw has been made. But overall, lads, have a good weekend when it comes, and hail, hail.
And also, JP, you need to mention the new merch.
Yes, and as you can see, we have we have some new clobber on tonight. Myself and Ryan have had the luxury of having some new clobber delivered. Take it away, Ryan. Who are we thanking and who are we?
We're thanking, well, obviously you obviously know the person who we're doing it from.
Yeah.
Again, for me, we're just happy to get provided by it. I'm actually trying to get his name at the moment. I thought you were going to do it. So
yeah, his name is Gerald O'Shea.
That's it.
And the company is
YVM, is that it?
YVM Prints.
There we go.
And they're based out in Clydebank. And they do everything, guys. They do posters, clobber, mugs, flasks, bottles, the lot. So give them a wee swatch on YouTube, not YouTube, sorry, Google, and you will come across a lot of their goods. And as I say, yeah, feel free to kind of thing me because to have a look into them because they do some quality stuff, and hopefully we'll have a good relationship with them as we go down the road with them. So yeah, feel free to have a wee look at that. But apart from that, it's a good night and hail.